हां एवढं दाखवतं ना ते एवढं बघ तुला असं वर म्हणा खाली पुस्तकं घे ना तिथून
Okay, sir.
Okay, perfect.
Now we are live on YouTube.
Hmm.
Shall we start, sir? Yes.
Yes, please.
Hello. Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. I heartily welcome all of you in the Langlit's online lecture series Day 22. At the outset, we the team of Langlit need to thank all the participants who have joined with us by logging Zoom app regularly and those who are watching, enjoying and learning with us live on Facebook and YouTube channel Langlist Educators. Thank you very much for your love, words of appreciation, blessings and academic support. We have been receiving overwhelming response from all over India and abroad. Nationally and internationally acclaimed academicians are going to deliver their talks on language and literature on the forthcoming days. In addition to that, it's not the end of lecture series. It's just a new beginning. We will arrange such a lecture series every now and then. We will try our best to invite well-known academicians during this lockdown period. We are going, there are certain instructions for the participants. We are giving unique certificate to each and every participant, but participant needs to fill the Google form first and send their Zoom participation screenshot or YouTube channel Language Educator subscription screenshot where you have watched all these videos as a proof to the email ID elangletmotivators@gmail.com. Our designer is working on the certificate. Very soon you will receive the Google form link. We are not generating certificates manually. We are working on the certificates manually. That's why it takes time to send you the link to your mail or mobile number after 17th May. You can also visit our journal's website
शेअर
www.langlit.org.
कसं करायचं
Kindly keep in touch. Don't forget to subscribe the channel so that you will get further notifications about new speaker. So let's share and grow together. Friends, today we have with us a well-known, uh, internationally acclaimed academician, Professor Dr. Vijay Khare sir. He is the head Department of Defense and Strategic Studies. He is the director International Center Savitribai Phule Pune University Pune. He is the director Yashwantrao Chauhan National Center of International Security and Defense Analysis of Savitribai Phule Pune University. He is also head Department of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Studies. He was the former dean Faculty of Humanities, University Pune. He has visited uh, several countries, and he has published his papers in national and international journals. So, without further delay, it's my honor and proud privilege to invite Professor Dr. Vijay Khare sir to deliver his talk on post-COVID internationalization of higher education. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon.
Yes.
Am I laudable? Am I laudable?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Good afternoon. It's my privilege to have a session, post-lunch session on post-COVID internationalization of higher education. We all aware that everyone is locked down from last 1.5 months, and we all are work from home. And all academics is trying to organize such kind of event. Let me thanks to Prashant and his team to organize such a kind wonderful event for everyone. It's my pleasure to have a session with you on internationalization of higher education, particularly what are the challenges and opportunities we have in terms of higher education. While dealing with this subject, there are the number of issues related to higher education. Some people say that what will be future of higher education after post-COVID? How the rural area can adjust with the online education system. Then the elite class also is talking about what was about their infrastructure. They invested thousands of crore rupees in their investment buildings and infrastructure. And if everything become online, what will happen about the big buildings? So these are the issue related to post-COVID. But being as a academician, we must have a theoretical understanding before going to start our subject. So I'm going with the three important event on this, three important argument. First, we need to understand the history of higher education. Then second is genesis of internationalization of higher education, because when we dealt with the internationalization, we need to understand how Genesis started in internationalization. Then third is it worth it for Indian academia to understand internationalization? And fourth, what is the rationale behind in that to understand the global as well as the Indian perspective of internationalization? Now, when we talked about history of higher education, let me just take you in 20th century. First, beginning of the 20th century, there is great change in education policy. Uh, while dealing with that, we have to understand how to, just let me share the document. Just give me two.
Yes, sir. Your PPT is visible
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
yeah, yeah. Okay. So while talking about history of higher education, let me go back in 20th century, how actually higher education journey we have started. We have long history of Takshashila and Nalanda, but later on we all aware that what has happened of Takshashila and Nalanda. But the modern education we have started in 20th century when laissez-faire system introduced wood dispatch. That was a wood dispatch in 1854, and he introduced a new system, and there was a commission on Indian Education Commission in 1882. We call it a Lord's Curzon Commission on Higher Education. And when Lord Curzon became a first viceroy of India in 1898, he has started a new kind of education system. Then Lord Curzon education system talks about reforms of particularly after the Shimla Agreement. He has followed a new pattern of Indian education. Then he appointed a Indian University Commission in 1902 by Thomas Raleigh. He was the chairman of Indian University Commission in 1902. And then in 1913, first officially education policy declared by Britishers. Then followed by 1917, the Calcutta University Commission. Before that, 1857, we had three universities. One is Calcutta, Madras, and Mumbai. Now, former Bombay University, now it's Mumbai. So this 1857 onwards, there are three universities, but later on, there were few changes made by Britishers. Then 1919 is a source of reference to deviate our education system, because after uh, Montagu and Chelmsford reforms, what first time a Britisher did it, they have transferred higher education to the local bodies, and that was a really setback for Indians, because when higher education transferred from elite class to local bodies, that time local stakeholders, they were not that much aware about how to rule, how to conduct the kind of techniques in higher education. And that system that setback is continuous until date. Even in today, there are issues in rural institution how to develop a quality access and equity. I'll come later on that issue, but the first kind of setback we had in 1919 Act, Montego-Chelmsford Committee, and that is a really issue related to higher education. Later on, after independence, we had Radhakrishnan Commission, 1948, where we talked about overall student development. That was our key uh, objective of first committee. Then 1952-53, we had Mudliar Committee, where we talked. The Mudliar Committee talked about Indian education, Indian education system as a whole. And then 1964-66 Kotari Committee talks about the Indian education system, where gross enrollment ratio, gender discrimination, then social inclusion, and other issues also included in that. And later on in 1968, National Education Policy, that National Education Policy talked about goal of harmony and integration, to use a regional language as a secondary schools. Then we have another source of reference with us for 1986 National Education Policy, which talks about promote gender equality. Then in 2001, Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, we have started in 2001. Then 2009, Right to Education Act, Right to Education, it was implemented from 1st April 2010. Then 2019, new education policy. The draft is ready, but implementation is going to happen in a very near future. So these are the reference point for us while understanding the higher education. Now, when we talked about the internationalization of higher education, look at the world power structure, particularly when we talk about the higher education. When one side we look at the Indian higher education system, and when we look at the global higher education system, first reference point we could get it after First World War. After First World War, there was a paradigm shift across the globe to understand the education system, and education is a soft diplomacy for to interact to bureaucrats, interact to each other. So they used as a soft diplomacy, and there was a paradigm shift in after World War First. After World War First, in US, Institute of International Education in 1990 was established by the president, former president, the founder and Nobel Peace winner and president of Columbia University, Nicholas Murray Butler, who established the first Institute of International Education. The main objective of that institution to exchange the idea among the academicians across the globe, and that is the important institute is playing important role from 1919 to 2000. I mean, 100 years just completed, and that institute is playing very important role to across the globe. All academicians are coming together. Then in 1925, German Academic Exchange Service, DAD, we call it DAD, that was established by German. Then in British Council was established in 1934. We all aware that the role of British Council is one of the one of the resourceful institution in India, where most of the Indian academician is getting opportunity, full funded fellowship to take their study as well as to conduct the research, as well as British Council is also providing the knowledge sharing with the most of the Indian stakeholders. Then in 1946, Fulbright program launched by Fulbright Commission. India is also part of that, and Fulbright program started in 1946. Then CEPAS, that is the Central Eastern European Exchange Program for University Studies. Particularly, Central and Eastern European institutes should come together, and they can exchange their ideas, thoughts among themselves. So that CEPAS also played important role. Then 80s onwards in Europe, Erasmus Mundus played a very important role. Through Erasmus Mundus, students from less developed country, including India, they got opportunity to full funded fellowship including student, staff, faculty, administrative staff, and they spread all over across the Southeast Asian country and less developed country. And Erasmus also open up new windows for Indian stakeholder who played an important role in higher education. Then Tempus in 1990, the Transnational European Mobility Program for University Studies Scheme, and then in 2019, Australian Award. So when you talked about this kind of development, we are talking about a post-COVID uh, higher education, internationalized higher education, as well as higher education. But while dealing with the concept of uh, globalization and higher education, what is the main core of uh, higher education? First, through globalization and through internationalization, uh, you can worldwide flow your ideas. If you have any kind of, I mean, while sitting in Latur or in Pune, now I'm connecting with the across the globe. If those who are interested to understand higher education or internationalization, they are watching this video. It means first time technology is playing important role here. Technology revolution in technology is not only changing the nature of higher education. Revolution in technology changing the time and space, and time and space is reducing, and the entire socio-political, including the higher education system, is changing. And that's why through internationalization, world wide flow of data ideas is coming up, and that is a one important kind of development while dealing with the international higher education. Second is resources. Means while using the different kind of resources, look at the if I have developed a collaboration with the Göttingen University, the student from Göttingen University, they can complete a 3 semester in Göttingen University and 1 semester in Pune University, so they can exchange the credit. So they are using our resources with the minimal cost. Also, they are exchanging the idea from us, and we are also exchanging ideas from them, their culture, their ethos, their values, and then financial transaction. So that is the real kind of internationalization. Then apart from that, the people to people contact, each one is interacting not only just academic matter, but each one is interacting with socio-economic cultural factor, and that's real developing a personal bonding as well as institutional bond. Then economy also is playing important role. When international student lands any institution, including Pune, he is not only just a student of Savitri Bai Phule Pune University. He also buying a house. He is renting car, then phone. Each means financially, uh, each country is getting the benefit from internationalization. Then cultural values and ethos. When you talk about international student, they are not only student for us, but they are real ambassadors for us. Even today, most of the developing countries ambassadors and the elite class is from the Pune University. You can look at the Iran, Afghanistan, and other part of the world. Our student, those completed degree or postgraduate on PhD in 80s or 90s, they are in their helm of office in respective countries. So this is a rich cultural values we are interacting. Then good services and technology. Then again, uh, this is a transaction of good service and technology and the strategic partnership. So these are the few concepts of uh, internationalization. Now, when you talk about what is international of higher education, means people talks about admission or the foreign student. And when you talk about foreign student, most of the institution, particularly Indian institution, they are looking for international student from Southeast Asian countries as well as Africa and Afghanistan. Even in my university, I'm taking care of an international center from last several years, but I'm getting the student, most of the student from Africa and Afghanistan, and they are coming in the field of science and technology field. But any student from Europe or Western world, if they are coming from the performing arts or to understand the social sciences, not in sciences. And that is a big challenge for Indian institution, how to attract the most of the elite class, particularly in the field of sciences and technology, how we can attract the European student and the Western world, including US, Australia, New Zealand, another part of how they send their student for completing a or post graduation in the science field. But that is not happening, in particular while dealing with internationalization. Now come to the definition. There are different definition while dealing with internationalization. One is the internationalization of higher education is defined as the process of integrating an international, intercultural, and global dimension into the goals, function, and delivery of higher education. So this is very John Knight has defined this definition. But when you talked about internationalization, there is no one size fit all model of internationalization. Means you cannot call it as internationalization for only to the joint a degree. But this is a definition given by John Knight, and we are referring that definition. Now, when you talk about international of higher education genesis, I said that First World War, after First World War and Second World War, there was a transfer of technology. The number of institution emerged at a global level, and particularly political globalization started after Second World War in 1945. And while after First World War, there was a global institution called a League of Nations. The League of Nations was established to maintain peace and stability across the globe, but somehow that was failed, and the Second World War started in 1939. And then again, the victory state established the United Nations, and all five major nation states become a permanent member in Security Council. And through veto power, they are playing important role in maintaining global peace and security. But at the same time, UN is playing important role to avoiding a third World War from 1945 to till then. So that extent, United Nations has a role, but the political globalization is going on across the globe after 1995. Then a second component, when we talked about the economic globalization, we all aware that from 1995, setting up the World Trade Organization, there was economic growth. And before that, we have started the new economic policy, and education become an industry under the GATS. And that is the real change among the third world countries, developing countries, including India. So earlier, it was education as a duty of responsibility of the nation state. But 95 onwards, higher education and education is become as an industry as per the GATS. And there is a paradigm shift in understanding higher education. Then again, when you talked about internationalization of education, we talked about only student mobility as a major factor. Means if you have a large number of student in your international student in your institution, that institution we call it as a number one institution in a country. Then some of this talked about who are the major stakeholder in internationalization. So student having a large number of students means it doesn't mean that that institution has a good quality. What is important is that what kind of quality you have developed in teaching, as well as the teaching, research, and exchanging the student. That is also important. I'll come on that point. But what is the impact of internationalization? First, I said earlier, including the different organizations, they started sending their students through different fellowship. But after 95 onwards, in higher education, there is a new change. The increase in global employment as well as the student mobility. Means even we all aware that all our forefathers, particularly founding father of Constitution as well as forefather or the freedom fighter, most of them got a degree from abroad, and they transfer their knowledge for our nation building. And after 95 onwards, those students got a degree from abroad. They played a very important position across the globe, and through that employment, more students attracting to join in a higher education institution, particularly in US, Australia, New Zealand, and European countries. I'm very when you talked about globalization, higher education, I'm very worried about that. Country like China, we blame to China that China is economic power as well as military power. But what Chinese did it in 90 onwards, they are sending the student in a very good institution, but after completing their degree, they have to come back and they have to serve for the nation. But in India, the student who are getting education in a public institution like IITs and IIM and very elite institution, but they are not coming back to India. They are just settled down there, and they are sending a message to how to develop nationalism, how to develop education policy. That is apart. But when we talked about impact of internationalization, increase of global employment is happening, as well as the student mobility. Then through internationalization, what is happening is a competition and university ranking. Look at the NAC, look at the Times Higher Education, the ranking, as well as the NRF ranking or BRICS ranking. There is a competition by the institution. Means most of the institution, particular private stakeholders, they are attracting a student. They are even they are launching the different kind of fellowship, and they're attracting more students to get a good ranking in higher education system. And that is a real issue related to higher education. One hand is a competition, as well as there are the there are the institution, they are just giving a importance to the internationalization, and that affect the higher education policy. Then third important is the education as an industry. So after World Trade Organization, after the GATS, it become an industry. Means when you talk about Indian student is an industry for US, British, New Zealand, as well as the Australia. Means every year they organize different kind of activity for the Indian student, and it become an industry. And let me, I have my experience from last several years in this field. I can rightly point to that where they hit it. They once they organize the different kind of uh, exhibition, they give it a fellowship. If their actual fees is $20, $20,000, they will say there's a tuition fees at $40,000, but they will give a 20,000 as a scholarship. It means a student is paying $40,000, where they can get. They said that we are giving a $20,000 for the fellowship. So this is a kind of strategy technique most of the Western world use, and they attract the most student, particular from India as well as China. And if you look at the present education institution in US and Western world, most of the students, they are coming from, they are getting the student from China and India. And after post COVID, now they are worried about how to get the student. I'll come on that point. But what I'm saying here, the GATT and WTO changed the internationalization and the education as an industry, and entire system has been changed. Then measuring internationalization means when you talk about internationalization, there is a misconception about internationalization. I said that uh, largest number of students, it doesn't mean that institution is important, but the quality and quantity, that is very important. And that's why uh, it's very important factor here to understand higher education in a head. Now, let me just go through the higher education challenges. What are the higher education challenges, particularly post-COVID? Now, most of the private institutions, they have developed infrastructure in a such way. They are, most of the institutions spend more than thousands crore on that. And what will happen their infrastructure if everything will become online? Uh, what is the role of the teacher? How role will be changed, and what are the issues in a post-COVID in a higher education system? Now, let me go through the challenges. What are the challenges? First, one is expansion, inclusion, and excellence. Then quality is also part of it. Look at the 12th five-year plan. You will understand the 12th five-year plan particular focus on equity, access, expansion, inclusion, and excellence, or you can say the quality of education. But there are the challenges. There are major challenges for the student. Most of the leading institution, they are becoming autonomous. They are developing a good manpower, and they have established a good infrastructure. That is one side. Then the other side, uh, if you go to the rural part, there are the inefficient infrastructure. There is a lack of human resources. Rural urban gap is increasing. Then attitude of youth, particularly those who are in a English medium, those who students are getting education English medium, somehow they have their mindset, their attitude. But those who students come from rural area, they have different gap. I'm not saying that the rural student is not good, but while maintaining the parity to each other, there are the issue in that. Then in present form, particularly in rural places, there's a lack of industry academic link. Very few institutions like Savitribai Phule University and Honorable Vice Chancellor is very keenly interested to develop a strategic partnership with industry, and somehow it's a role model. Savitribai Phule University is a role model for the other state-funded university as well as the other institution. But this is a very limited success story. But the other uh, institution, particularly in Bihar and Uttar Pradesh, how they will cope up with this issue, that is very important. And that's why when you talked about the second challenges, that's inefficient infrastructure, then enhancing the sustaining the creation of open platform for research and problem. Now it is reality. After post-COVID, entire lifestyle will be changed. We have to change our lifestyle. We have to change our day-to-day life. Means the most of the uh, people, we all aware that the how uh, system will change. People talk about the social distancing or the physical distancing, but country like India, how can cope up with this kind of issue, and particularly the creation of open learning platform. Is that open learning platform is going to massification of higher education, or is it again it is a question mark for the, is it only for the elite class? And that is the real thing. Now, in my understanding, the post-COVID challenges in Indian higher education has divided two kind of disparity. One is the skill manpower, skilled worker manpower, where those who has control over technology, they can get a job opportunity, they can stand and they can survive anywhere. But those students who are not pictured in anywhere, in particularly in a technology savvy, techno savvy or a technology related affiliation, they may lose the job opportunity. They may have a different problem. So post-COVID challenges, particularly in Indian higher education, is completely different. There will be two kind of differentiate two kind of group. You can see that the one is technology or a skilled manpower and unskilled manpower, and through education also that gap will increase, not will be the gap will not reduce. Although we are saying that online education may change the paradigm, or there will be a complete paradigm shift, but this while considering the Indian social structure, Indian urban rural gap, uh, this is the one more important challenge. Then fourth is the unemployment, then privatization of higher education, competition from both private and international institutions. So one hand, through open learning module, now if Cambridge, Oxford, MIT, Harvard, if in a $2,000, if they are giving one degree to me, online module, then what will happen about my university like a Gondwana University? Who will enroll in a Gondwana University? Which student will enroll in a Gondwana University? Like take example of in Maharashtra. If you take example on Bihar, what will happen of the Bihar University, or what will happen in a Chhattisgarh University? If online platform if developed everywhere, then there will be a crisis in terms of uh, regulatory authority, in terms of developing a disparity between the rich and poor. And this is one challenge. And first, now, when you talk about higher education challenges in post-COVID, what I feel that there will be a issue related to unemployment, because we unfortunately from last 2 decades our education system has not cope up with the what industry required, and there's a lack of industry education strategic linkages, and our syllabus, our curriculum, which is based on very different way, and this is really issue. So in nutshell, these are the four important point has come out. Now let me go again in the internationalization. When people talks about Indian institution, most of the elite class hardly any idea about what is the status of Indian institution, how many international students they have. And when they talked about that, when we talk particularly Indian political leaders, they talked about the Vishwa Guru or the Vasudhaiva Kutumba or some other emotional slogan we may call it. But the reality in Indian institution, how many international students we enroll. This is the data from just compiled by me and other sources, but I'm using this data of All India Survey of Higher Education 17-18. What Indian institutions are receiving the student? How many? Uh, Today, you look at the total number of international students is around 40,000 to 45,000. International student visited in Indian institution, whereas other part means every year Indian student, more than 2 lakhs Indian student going to different countries, particularly Western world, US. First their destination is US, second is UK, third is Australia, and fourth is New Zealand, and fifth is the European countries. And in India, India is the third source country to host the international. Third source third source country to have largest international student to the Western world. But while accepting the international student, our number is around 24th or something there. So look at the statistical data. 24.9% of the student we are receiving from Nepal, and mostly more they are not from Nepal. Actually, they are staying in India, but they have a Nepali citizenship with them. So most of this Nepali student, either most of they are staying in a Gorakhpur border area, some of them working somewhere, they could not get Indian citizenship. They are also using the Nepalese and they are enrolling. So their number is very high, 24.9. Then Afghanistan, 9.5, 4.8 Sudan, 4.3 Bhutan, 4.4% Nigeria, and other African countries. So this is the reality when we talk about admitting the international student. Even in my university, we are, I said earlier, Savitribai Phule universities, out of this number, 40% student we are enrolling in a Savitribai Phule University. This is good sign for university or for our leadership, honorable vice chancellor, and all university authorities. But we are also trying to make comfortable for Western world, and that's why honorable vice chancellor has signed a very good agreement with a very leading institution, including US and including Europe. But that is in limited scientific area. But we are trying to attract the student to get them in a scientific degrees. Now, I said, look at the data, student mobility. Look at the data, how student is migrating from India to US or other part of the world, and how student, how India is getting. Means it's very unfortunate that when we talked about education, when we talked about higher education, and when we talked about debate on media and newspaper, particularly from the political leaders, so anyone just they said India is now becoming a global power. India is becoming our military capability. India is the second. So without education or without uh, education and health sector, any nation state cannot become a global power. Even we have seen that how US is collapsed, particularly dealing with the health education system, and the death ratio in US means having a weapons of mass destruction or having a good GDP number or economic capability. It doesn't mean that you are playing an important role at global security environment. What is important? Important is the to need the good infrastructure, healthcare system, education system, and the other basic needs of the people. Apart from that, look at this data. The data shows that the 28% student, just US, Canada, Australia, Saudi Arabia, UAE, New Zealand, Bahrain, China. This is a Indian student mobility is going to this country as well as the international student. Now I'll switch over. Now look at the data again. This internationalization, student mobility. Some extent there is a mobility is happening. Is around 50,000 students are going here or there. but we need to take a good opportunity in that. I'll just leave it on this because this is not a number of international students. I'll just say now come to the economic impact of mobility. This is again this data I have got from IEE, the person who first time established International Institution of Education. This data is given every year. United States of America is earning $27 billion. Look at their strategic benefit from Indo-US strategic partnership. They are not earning that much, but they are earning a $27 billion annually through the Indian student. Now, don't count only the tuition fees. If we are sending a one student for engineering student and he's paying $40,000 per year, but apart from that, his living cost, his day-to-day life, living expenses, if you calculate in that randomly or hypothetically, if you calculate that, then that figure goes to around $27 billion. Then UK, second, I said 8.5 billion pounds. Then Ireland, 19.1 billion Australian, 900 million euros. Then Australia, 19.1 billion Australian dollar. New Zealand, 2.3 billion New Zealand dollar. Canada, 5.5 billion Canadian dollar. And where is India? Where are we loser, or are we just sending the student to ATA? Means what kind of quality we have in our education system, what kind of challenges we have, and what kind of slogan we are giving to the world that we are going to become a global guru, or we talked about the country with the weapons of mass destruction or economic capability or military capability. So this is the revenue earned by this Western world to the Indian student, and we are sending our knowledge, means skilled manpower to abroad. And tell me, then one important thing here: those students are spending this amount to the Western world. They are not coming back. In fact, some of them are coming back, but their priority, their choices is to settle down there, not there. And unfortunately, if student is going to undergraduate, up to 12th standard, that student is getting a education public institution. Public institution means the government money. So those students are getting education in India to the public institution. They are going abroad, they are spending money, and they are settling down there. And now the same people, they are talking about nationalism, they are talking about Indianization of higher education, and they are sending rules and regulations from abroad. So this is a reality while dealing with the higher education. So here main question is where we are. Are we loser or are we benefit? Now, again, internationalization university ranking. I said impact on higher education ranking, uh, internationalization, and what is not. Let me just give few rationale. Uh, while dealing with the rationale for internationalization, first is social and cultural rationale. There is a need to understand intercultural understanding. Means when student comes here, he is completely understanding Indian culture. We are understanding their culture, and there is a exchange of ideas, thoughts between among us related to culture. Then there is a citizenship, social and community development is happening through the internationalization. Then in economic, again, there's a economic competitiveness is happening. Labor market and income generation is going on. Academic, it is really benefited. International dimension, research and teaching, institution building, particularly profile and status. If someone is from, take example of Fulbright scholar. In my CV, I always write a Fulbright scholar. Although that is some extent, I feel so bad that why I should put it that the tag with me. But without that tag, people not understanding who is Dr. Vijay. So this is the Indian mind. So when you talk about yourself or your institution, you need a tag, and that is the competition. And then there is a status. Means if you have a five-star or A plus university or A university or a NAC A grade university, then you talked about your status all the time. You use that kind of status with you, that I'm having a 40% of international student, or I'm having a large number of international faculty. But all the time that student, that faculty may not benefit. But anyway, but what I'm saying here, some extent for internationalization, academic status is important. The enhancement of quality and curriculum and collaboration. Let me tell you that when we talked about international curriculum, if student, why Indian institution and universities are lacking to attract more student, more international student from Western world, we are lacking that. Take example of if any student would like to join an MBA course, and in a curriculum of MBA probably or BBA course, why they should learn Indian economy. If you want to have a global curriculum, you need to have a global topic in that your curriculum. Unfortunately, most of the institution, including SPQ, has that component, but most of the other university, they are not included in their curriculum, and that's why students from Western world are not attracting with us. So Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor Nitin Karmakar has initiated a very important initiative for the university department. First time in India, we have started a BBA course in International Center in a collaboration with the Management Sciences. And that is only for the international student, and that curriculum we have developed with the international standard. Means the BBA student of international student, they are not studying the Indian economy, or they are not studying the Maharashtra economy. They are studying curriculum with the acquire of the international. So then students are attracting that course. So here, that is important. The enhancement of quality and curriculum is important to the for academic and collaboration. Now, in between, there were several institutions. If they sign a MOU, they news comes on newspapers, and then they put a picture on for the NAC and other purposes. But what is the role of collaboration? Collaboration should not only just signing a document. Collaboration should be a sustainable point of view. Collaboration must have a sustainable. At the same time, collaboration should develop a strategic partnership for long period. Collaboration is not only short period. Collaboration should be sustainable and exchange of idea. Now we have developed Obama saying 20. We have developed one joint collaborative center with the Penn State. They are spending $50,000 per year, and we are spending $25,000 per year. And then faculty to faculty collaboration is happening. So same kind of collaboration we needed. It's not only just one institution comes from abroad, we sign a MOU, and the signing ceremony, we put the photo everywhere, nothing is happening. So that is we are lacking, and that's why when you talked about the rationale of internationalization, we need to understand the collaboration. Then competitive, again, I said that this is the age of competitive age, or you can say the globalization, where international branding and positioning is very important. So the internationalization, giving that international branding, means even all ranking institution focusing for the international institution, international student, as well as international collaboration, as well as the faculty, and that has given important weightages for that. Then strategic alliances, knowledge production and exchange. So that's the one. Then developmental, student and staff development, institution learning, exchange and capacity building. So these are the few rationale for uh, internationalization. Now there is a misconception. I already said that more number of international students is not important. What is important is quality of international students, very important. More international visitor is not also important, but focus on limited, but have it good quality. More MOU sign means not only internationalization. You need to have a good number of students with the quality. More international conference attended. Now there is a new kind of things happening everywhere. International conferences is organized by each one, and then one international two student. In fact, 2-3 years back, there was a queue for me for before in front of Internet Center. Every 3-4 days, I got a phone call that send your international student. We will send car for them, or we will manage the accommodation. I said we are not, so we, officially we will not allow our student to participate, any international student, in case they are not part of that particular subject. So what I'm saying here, don't just have it international conference or just attend. What you come with the uh, concrete contribution. Then establish campus abroad. This is the concept is going on, and although through the globalization, we need to have a global citizen. Global and global citizen is very important. Now here there are benefits of the benefits of internationalization. Internationalization helps to enhance the international awareness of the student and faculty. There are the this is very important benefit of that. We also earn revenue from them. We also develop a strategic partnership with the student. Our student also be a ambassador for us. They carry Indian culture values, but some extent they also trouble for us, particularly country like third world countries. When the student come, they have issues, particular language issue, their cultural issues as well. They have a cultural shock. So we need to understand them. We need to have a proper buddy system for them, and through buddy system, we nurture that kind of climate where risk should be minimized, and we could play important role through international student. So benefits are there as well as the risks are there. Now, in when you talked about India in global context on internationalization and new economic policy, uh, just in 12th five-year plan, there was a committee before document place for open for the discussion new education policy. Before that, there was a component called as a internationalized for higher education, and in 2015, that document talks about there were 15 to around 20 important sectors. Among that, one is the important component was the internationalization of higher education. Rest of the financing of higher education, promoting and research and innovation, engagement with the industry, link and employability, new knowledge, promote cultural integration, and through language, skill development, higher education, and so on. So among that, internationalization was an important factor. Now here, how to post COVID, particular, what are the trends will shift, and what are the questions will come. Uh, there is a one paradigm shift will happen now. There will be a challenge for institution. There is a challenge for each institution. I said last year we had means India had around 42,000 to 45,000 international students. But what about this year? Are we again lose, or are we get a benefit of that? My understanding is that if we develop an online module, if we enroll them this year for one semester while sitting their respective countries, and will develop one module, online module for them for one semester, then in the second semester they can join with us. Then we can sustain for this competition. Otherwise, what numbers we have in a present situation, probably we also lose that one. And that's why current trends in international will be change the paradigm. Now I will not go through that. What is here important, how to cope up with this situation. uh, Let me I just give me the details of how uh, how Indian student means what Indian institution can get the benefit of that, and how we can stop our Indian student to go abroad if we develop a new model with the help of Western world. If the kind of education system they have developed, and if we provide them a good kind of financial help and develop an online module with them, uh, develop a degree, blended degree with them, and joint degree with them, then our number will increase. Now, this is a statistical figure. I just earlier said that India is losing large number of money in terms of in while understanding the internationalization. Now I'll come to the uh, proposed new education policy, and where post-COVID this education policy is how what extent it will how it will implement and what will happen. Now just take overview of the proposed new education policy. The new education policy draft policy is available to everyone. You can look at that, and that is the main concern. Means all academicians should must read that. Now what will happen? Uh, Now this year somehow we will manage, but new proposed education policy, if suppose it is going to implement, what is the change is coming, and then how we'll talk about internationalization. Now first, there is new formula is coming up, that is the 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. It means your graduation, 5 plus 3 8, 8 plus 3 11, 11 plus 4 means again the 5 uh, 4-year degree is coming up, then entire uh, link will be changed. That's one. The proposed education policy also talked about the flexible school curriculum. Then by 2030, government of India is expecting 100% gross enrollment ratio. So let me just uh, clear to everyone that what is our gross enrollment ratio. In terms of Maharashtra, some extent at national level, Maharashtra is number one in terms of enrollment of student at the age of 18 to 23. Our enrollment is around 30 to 31% compared to others. But national gross enrollment ratio, government is saying that around 20 to 25. But statistical figure has not compiled data, but that is again 20 to 25. But again, in that 25% of enrollment, the female ratio is very limited. Discriminated group, particularly vulnerable group, scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, minorities, their numbers are very less. And if their number is high, then they are not in the field of scientific area. They are in the field of social sciences, languages, and the humanities. So again, there is a challenge to each one. So government of India is proposing in new education policy that our enrollment should be 100% by 2030. Then empowered the governance of autonomy. Government is saying that autonomy to the most of the leading institution. Those institution is getting 3x8 grade from NAC. They can empower the partial autonomy from UGC or university, and they can become a semi-university or the territorial university. That kind of policy is coming up. Then by education, new Right to Information Act says that right to education is from age of 6 to uh, plus 6 years onwards. But this in education policy is talking about to right to education from age of the 3 to 6 by 2023. Then new curriculum is going to develop on approach based to local based curriculum development is coming on that. Then right to education is extending up to 3 to 6. The teacher student ratio is around 30 to 1. Now again, now that's my question. If the new education policy is talking about the teacher student ratio is 30 into raised to 1 in new education policy. Now post COVID entire, now the new paradigm shift will come. The thousands of students will join in a one webinar, and then how will match this schools teacher student ratio. So that is one point. Then expansion of midday meal program. We all aware that the 70% student are from the rural place, and why they are going in a school, because they are getting a one-time. If you are in future, if there is a paradigm shift in school education as well as in higher education, what will happen about these people, those who are getting a free meal at one time? Are we through online, how we'll provide a one meal to them? And that is my concern. Then new education policy also talks about dropout rates. Right to education extended up to 12th area. New curriculum talks about the new pedagogical integrated curriculum, choice-based credit system, assessment, teacher recruitment process is going to open, and 2020 onwards there will be no appointment of unqualified teachers. So that is a draft of new education policy. Now, come to the other part, which is a very important. In new education policy, they are coming the idea with the schools complex, and that what is a school complex? They are clustering the 30 schools together, and the school complex managed by the school management committee, and committee will take the ownership. It means the government funded institution become the one complex. The management committee will take over to them, and then it will be under that. So it means that again the private education will be a issue related to will be changed in due course of time. Then 4 year liberal arts degree is coming up, choice-based career system, and all international institutions particularly will focus on internationalization. So these are the new challenges in a new proposed plan in new education policy. Now, come to the present situation. What will happen? What is the future of higher education in post-COVID? I don't think next 6 months India can manage the uh, COVID-19, because the kind of uh, social structure we have, the kind of health system, although lockdown will be open up, but everywhere there will be cases and will happen, and there will be infected people will be around uh, among the major population. So what is the solution that where we will be, and what kind of opportunity and challenges? Now, first, my humble suggestion that those who are going to talk about only the benefits of online education, they should come on reality. They must understand the Indian education system. Hardly we had just completed 7 decades of history of our education after independence. We got a right to enter in a school system. Before that, due to the caste system, the social structure, even in, I said in a whatever gross enrollment ratio, 50% population women, they are not in a technological field. They are only in a major field, particularly from the discriminated groups. They are the women. They are everywhere, but most of them are from the elite class. So, if you want to bridge this gap, we need to have a top to bottom approach and bottom to top approach. So, what is the top to bottom approach? You develop internationalization, you get a benefit from higher learning institution, develop a strategic partnership, give that good education to the common masses. Second, apart from online education, you also think that our enrollment should be increased, not only increase, what kind of uh, financial package we are giving to the student, those who are coming from the rural area, because without that, if you just only focusing on online education and online Moodles and uh, other kind of pedagogy, in future that will be again the crisis between two groups. I said that in earlier, there is a crisis, the complete divide between the technical manpower and unskilled manpower versus skilled manpower, and that should not happen in our education system. So my humble request would be to all stakeholders, those who talks about internationalization, those who talked about higher education, those who talks about education system as all, it is our responsibility to take a proper decision, take a proper uh, implementation of the policy, and take a proper right direction for not for us but the next generation, because we may survive somehow, but what about other next generation? And that is our responsibility. With this word, I'm just finishing my presentation, although it was just randomly I just talked in that. In case if anyone has a doubt, issue, they can ask me question and talk to with me. Thank you. होतं का बनते? Hmm?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, yes. There are certain
Good.
questions for you, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, sir. There are a few questions for you.
Please carry on.
Yes. Uh, How can the gap between industry and academia be bridged in this situation?
See, industry academia interaction is very important. Industry needed skill manpower through education hub, and education hub has to develop that kind of curriculum. So while dealing with that, you need to develop a new curriculum with the requirement of industry. So first, you need to revise your curriculum. And when you are revising your curriculum, it's just not focused on the curriculum only for the industry oriented. So the student or those who are not interested with the industry, they can stand other area. So what I'm saying that they were focused on core area and semi-core area, then develop a curriculum. Unfortunately, our engineering courses now there are three kind of universities coming up as per the new education policy. All affiliated colleges now they are going to become a degree awarding college institution, so their responsibility will be changed now. So take example of the my district in Nawapur College, if awarding a BA degree or BSc degree, and Ferguson College awarding a BSc degree. So the if 70% marks for the Nawapur College student and 70% marks for the Ferguson College, how to maintain,
Bridge gap.
develop the, how to bridge that gap. So what is important? Important to have a decide core sectors as well as semi-core sectors and develop a curriculum which is important for the industry as well as the survival of the student.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
How to curb brain drain problem?
It is again, this is a issue related to caste class culture. Very few means I am very open up in that way. People talks about the brain drain. In fact, now uh, when they will kick off from Western world, then we'll talk about brain drain. When they got opportunity, no one talks about brain drain. Now you should not talk about the brain drain. What you should talk about, those who are here now, focus on them. And if you're sending 1 lakh student outside India, take a bond with them, write a bond, get a bond from them. After 5 years, they have to come back here and work for the India. Take what kind of China is proposing. So we are not doing anything. We are the student from IIT. Last year, student of IIT is getting a 2 crore package, but we are not asking him to that kindly come. First, your duty is to work for India for 5 years, then go back. That's not we are not. That's not happening in our education system. So
Yes,
we
sir.
need to change that policy.
Respected sir, what should be the
Yes.
strategies of Indian government regarding poor and talented students of our country in
They,
post-COVID situation?
I said we should not only talk about the online learning system for the poor people. Wait for a couple of months. Don't just be in a hurry to go to everything is online. Don't go for online exam. Don't go for online module. To some extent, partly optional paper you can go. You just go through the online. But core paper student has to come and under. Now tell me if everything will be online, then it will be very difficult. Not only for difficult the survival of the teacher, the definition of teacher will change. The definition of infrastructure will change. What kind of take example Jaikar Library. Jaikar Library has a very old collection. You will not find any kind of such kind of rich literature anywhere in India. But if everything is going to provide online, then what is the useful of the historical documents and archival? So my question would be, just don't be in a hurry. Kindly wait for a couple of days and then frame a strategy which will be a pro.
Yes, sir. We have with us a professor from Kerala, Vargesh sir. Are you there, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Go ahead with your question.
Uh, Hi, sir. The session was good. My question
Thank
is
you.
this. Yes, sir. See, my question is this. See, what would be the post-COVID? See, you talked about the internationalization of education. What would be the post-COVID situation? See, and if you have any suggestions, please tell us the post-COVID situation of this internationalization of education as far as India is concerned.
Yes, sir. For Indian institution has very good opportunity, particularly to get the student from uh, Southeast and Southeast Asian countries, because if we develop a first semester online model for them, we will enroll them online and deliver online model one semester for them, then each institution will get a very good response. So not
Okay.
to worry at all for international student. Honorable Vice Chancellor of Savitribai Phule Pune University, Professor Nitin Karmakar, he has come with this plan, and the first day he instructed to us.
Definitely, it is because of the need of time.
First day he has instructed to us, and he said that develop a curriculum in a such way, and we are working on it. So same kind of model, I think each institution should work on that.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
sir.
Thank you.
So we have another professor from Tamil Nadu, Dr. S. Kumaran, sir.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
there is the question audible.
Yes,
Voice,
yes,
Yes,
voice.
yes,
yes, sir.
yes,
Sir, my question, how would be the scope of using technology after COVID, sir? Will technology be mandated, or how far? What level of percentage we can expect?
sir. It's a very good question. I said online education in a few areas would be fine, but you cannot use all kind of online education to each one and each degree. Some extent, for example, in a social sciences, uh, you can make it a different model for them. But in science subject, it would be difficult. Now, even my student, those who come from rural places, look at the Indian education system. From Maharashtra, government of Maharashtra is not filling the student up to ninth standard. Then student come to the 10th standard. He pass in a 10th standard. Up to 11th standard, most of the students, they are not understanding the basic knowledge. So this is our primary education system. So if directly you are enrolling them in a higher education and we are giving a new technology version, then it would be difficult. But in case if you are going with the technology module, you need to first give a more time to settle the student who are coming from the rural places. Let them settle, give them a basic knowledge, basic uh, information, then enroll them in a education, online education system. Then it will
Well
work.
said, sir. Yeah, well said.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Sir, we have with us Professor Dr. L.G. Patil, sir. Yes, sir.
Hello, sir. Chris, sir. This is a nice presentation. You have
Thank you.
streamlined. Hello.
Yes,
Ah,
sir.
Hello,
yes, sir.
Go
Prashant.
Yes,
ahead.
Anjali. Yeah.
Yes. The problem in India is the appointment of the teachers, qualified teachers. So, if the universities and the government is not interested in employing those teachers or appointing those teachers at, say, in colleges and universities, the students are going to suffer a lot. We are unable to give quality education. So, that is one of the reasons. What is your opinion about it?
In fact, for this government, state government and central government, both they get opportunity of COVID, although they were not interested to enroll or develop. They have not done any strategic plan for education sector. But post COVID become a weapon for with them now. They will say that there is economic crisis and we are not going to appoint a new faculty in a particular area in the field of social sciences and the humanities. So again, there will be a problem comes will there will be a problem in higher education, and that will be a serious issue. If same trend will continue, then I said earlier there will be a huge gap. Earlier it was a gap of rural and urban, but now this is a skill and unskilled labor's gap will increase, and this is a danger. I'm seeing that this is a danger challenge to not only India but all over the world, and this is not happening in India only. All less developing countries, they are facing the same challenge. Even in European countries, they are said that there will be different. Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Hello, sir.
Okay.
You have been in the
Uh,
university at International Center for quite a long time.
Mhm.
Previously, what is the reason behind over the last few years for the say lack of international students from European countries? So there are not as many students as they were there in the past. What is the reason? What is
Uh,
your opinion about it?
let me. I have gone through all statistical data. Whatever number we claim, 90% student we are receiving from the Africa, Afghanistan, and Iran. The Iran number was high because there was a strategic partnership between India and Iran, oil to for education, and on that fellowship they came. Now government of India stopped that partnership, and Iran student they have stopped the coming to India. Number one. Number two, what I said earlier, European students are not interested in a field of scientific area. They are interested in a performing arts or in a social sciences, and they are coming only for the one semester, not for the full degree. And very few they are coming for the degree, or if they get a fellowship. So even in European countries, they are having several issues related to economic crisis. So there is
Yes.
another issue. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
thank you,
Thank
thank
you.
you, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, we have with us Rajesh Jankar, sir. Are you there, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Please,
Yes,
please, please.
go ahead with your question.
Uh, very good afternoon, Vijay Khare, sir.
Good. Thank you. Thank you.
First
Good
of
afternoon,
all,
sir.
your presentation was very nice and
Thank
very.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My first question is that early in the morning, I heard about to our Gajanan Egbote sir also. He has also
Uh-huh.
raised few questions regarding upcoming situation. I
Mm-hmm.
also asked the same question. I would like to ask the get the answer from you too. My question
Yes,
is
sir.
that, sir, this upcoming scenario after this
Mm-hmm.
COVID situation, the before that we have the conventional mode, the
Mm-hmm.
arts, commerce, and science faculty. But do you think that after this COVID, there would be the interdisciplinary changes would be there?
Sir, thank you for a very good question. This is
Okay.
a change is not new for us.
Yes.
COVID is now linked with this because new education policy and new university act already saying that there should be a break a wall between sciences and social sciences and humanities, and we should have a multi. You should have a interdisciplinary or multidisciplinary curriculum. This is going on. In a post-COVID, what will happen now? Those institutions are particularly behind technology, those who are the masters. What they will propose now, they will come out with the degree in a such way where they will come with the few elements of social sciences, few elements of humanities, languages, and the few elements of, like a liberal arts, you know. But I said that will work out for limited area for limited people, but same will not helpful for the rural place student, those who are in a rural places. Student from the 12th standard is completed 12th standard from Pune or Nasik, they may happy to accommodate this kind of but the student who come from the rural places in Orissa, I don't
Mhm.
think he will accommodate that kind of degree. So what
Yes.
we need to have our own model with the technology platform. Means our online system, our system with our needs, not a Western need. Means now whatever anyone now come become now see. Let me after 2 months, even we all will be fed up of this webinar. Now
Yes.
everywhere is a webinar is will be good, but after 2 months, no one will join with webinar. So this is a new trend. Just wait for 2 months. Wait for 2 months. Let the
So,
lockdown will be finished. No one will talk or in a webinar. See, this is a human nature, human history. Without man-to-man attraction, you will not get a knowledge. And just getting education is not only just getting a degree. You need to change your mindset. You need to
Yes.
change your day-to-day lifestyle. You need to
Yes.
change your thinking, and that is the change will come when you interact with the teacher and the student. And that's why
Yes.
you need a offline education in a same way what the other activities may propose in a online education. So be aware. Just wait for not be in a hurry. That I don't think each one will accept this kind of a model, because diverse population, we have very different diverse. I don't think it will happen. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Okay,
Sir,
thank you, sir.
sir, I have one more issue. So,
Please.
as you said, amalgamation of both the things are necessary. As you said earlier, 7.5 lakh students go to the other universities outside India. In post-COVID situation, as you said, in India, the situation will continue for 6 months. Our students won't be going to the other universities. Similarly, students from other countries won't be coming here. So will this be a chance for the Indian universities to materialize on this and tap our own students, our own intellectuals in India only? What is your opinion?
Yeah. In fact, why UGC's declared the month of September for new academic year?
Yes.
The reason is behind that most of our students, those who wanted to go abroad, their schedule start from September. So the student who complete degree in month of June, same year is not going to abroad in the same year. He has to wait for another 1 year to complete the procedure. The September we are going to start, because now post-COVID is a good opportunity to us to start the September to September academic year. That will be good opportunity for Indian student, and they will go. So question is that already the Western university, most of the university, they are attracting the, Australia has their official agents. They have everywhere recruited agents, and through agents they are everywhere. So the agents already got the documents of Indian student. Look, you just admit this year. We are admitting to you. They will give it online modules, whatever you want. Read this literature, and once COVID will have finished, then you can join it. So already they are doing huge different strategy to recruit Indian students. So I don't think there is a problem.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, we have with us Tejashwini Patil, ma'am. Are you there?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Go ahead with your question.
No, I have asked already, and the answer has been given by sir. So already, how to bridge the gap between industry and academia?
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
So we have with us Diksha Kadam, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello, Dr. Vijay Khare.
Boli.
Yes, you can ask your question.
Yes, please.
Actually, my question was regarding the
Your voice
privatization of the universities nowadays.
Yes.
Your voice is
Your
breaking.
question is
Hello?
not. Yeah, your voice is breaking, not audible.
My question is regarding the privatization of the.
It's okay.
Prashant sir, you can read my question.
Where is your
Hello?
question?
Can you hear me?
Yes, you can go ahead.
Yeah, it's in the Q&A.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear now.
Okay, sir. The question was regarding new universities that are coming up in India, and the next is privatization of the universities in India. So because of that, what happening is the cream crowd of India, which is very much poor, only 10% universities in India, they are paying a little attention to that class. 90% of the privatization has happened in the education sector, we can say. So what kind of generation we're expecting in the coming days, because that particular generation is paying lakhs of fees, and what kind of social contribution will be having from those people who are just taking education only for the sake of earning money. So my concern is that, and thank you so much for listening to this question.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Prashant, can I?
Yes. Go ahead, sir.
See, now education is an industry as per the GATT and WTO. So we will not go back again. But
Yes.
what my answer would be, it all depends on political leaders. Take example of Delhi government, uh, how much they increase their budget in a education sector and how they transform and how they came in form. Take a example of Kerala. Take an example of some extent Maharashtra. Take example of some extent other state where political leaders have a vision. They can transform to education with the help of public and private partnership. So if that will happen, then thing will change. Otherwise, you will not answer that question. I will not answer that question. Then there will be a continued gap among us because of the private actors. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I think we are done with the questions, sir. Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Professor Vijay Khare, sir, for your wonderful, interactive, thought-provoking, and insightful session on internationalization of higher education and post-COVID. You have also proposed new educational policies. Thank you very much, each and everyone, for your active participation by logging Zoom. And today, and those who are watching on YouTube channel, live on Langley's Educators. Langley lecture series believe in the philosophy. Let's learn from each other and spread happiness. Stay at home and stay happy and healthy. We don't
Thank you.
have a session tomorrow. Catch you on 14th May at 4 p.m. with the international speaker from Thammasat University, Thailand. Okay, sir. Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you,
Sure.
Prashant.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
very much.
Prashant.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir.